Welcome to Local Anaesthetic Podcast. This is episode 401 now. As promised, we're continuing our 400 episode celebration, even though it's 401, but we wanted to split it across 2 episodes for you all. As always, we're joined by Rob. How you doing there, Rob? You're looking well. Are you looking forward to continuing what we started last week? Because I really enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, mate. I really enjoyed it. Part of me is already thinking that maybe we should spell anaesthetic again, because it was actually a lot of fun. I mean, it was fun for us. I'm not sure whether it was fun for the listeners, but I think maybe we incorporate that back in. But yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm raring to crack on and delve back into our back catalogue.
You mentioned something to me, Rob. So just for listeners who aren't aware, we've got a listener to this podcast called Pete, who has been listening, going through our back catalogue of episodes. He's been really enjoying them. He's on about episode 320 now, and he picked out some stories for us that he thought we could feature for our 400 episode celebrations. Just to reiterate, this is 401. You're not listening to episode 400. If you haven't listened to episode 400, go back and listen to the last one. Rob, you mentioned something to me in the week between these episodes about world events that you wanted to briefly summarise the world events that had happened since we'd started this podcast. This is going to be very depressing. Do you think you could do that for us now?
Well, the thing is, Alex, I mean, we have been going for 11 years now, which I still can't quite believe. So I thought it would be nice to have, I mean, I'm going to keep it light. There might be certain events I deliberately don't mention. So, I mean, you might know what those are. But I thought it would be good to look back.
Hang on a minute. Like what?
Well, I mean, maybe terrorist attacks. I'm going to try and leave those out for obvious reasons.
Well, you can't just Rob, it's in 1984. You can't just whitewash history. What are you, the Ministry of Truth?
I just thought we would focus on maybe some of the more celebratory events, Alex.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes, all right. If there are things to be happy about. Okay.
Exactly. So, Alex, we're going to start off in 2012, and I'm only going to feature a few of each year because otherwise it'll be all fucking day. So 2012 was a really good year to start, Alex. We had the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, and we had the Olympics. London had the Olympics. It was such a time of celebration and joy. You know, it was such a proud event. And I'll be honest, it's gone downhill since then. So 2013, most notably, the Duchess of Cambridge now...
Sorry, Rob, these are British events. You said world events.
Oh, these are British events, Alex.
Well, you did say world events, and classic little England. We're not the Empire anymore. None of our international listeners even know what you're talking about. But okay, fine.
No,
the Duchess of... That's fine.
Yeah, I do now realise this is actually UK events. So the Duchess of Cambridge, now the Princess of Wales, I think. Yeah. Gave birth to George.
Rob, I'm sorry. Have you morphed into Nicholas Witchell? I'm sorry, we are not doing this.
Alex, there were other key events, not just that.
Okay.
So 2014, same-sex marriage becomes legal in England, Wales and Scotland. That's a big milestone, and support for UKIP increases. 2015, the Conservatives win the majority.
Yeah. Can I just point out that all of this you're doing is throughout the last the last 12 years of Tory rule?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
So you're celebrating the achievements, basically, of Conservative-led Britain. Is that what you're doing to start off 401? That's what it sounds like you're doing.
I don't think you can call the reign of Queen Elizabeth II becoming the longest reigning UK monarch as a Tory event. I think that's... I mean, she's famously neutral, so... was, obviously. Also, 2016, Leicester win the Premier League. That's a big event.
Right.
And David Cameron resigns after losing the Brexit vote and ushers in Theresa May's reign as PM. And obviously, the UK votes to leave the European Union. 2017 marks the Queen's Sapphire Jubilee. Can't do that. That's quite bleak. Actually, it's all quite bleak. It's Theresa May, Prime Minister, increases her majority after they win.
Rob, I'm now intervening. I'm stopping this. This is propaganda at its worst. I'm sorry. This is depressing me. These are not celebratory events. How am I meant to sit here going, yes, Theresa May got into power, yes. What is wrong with you?
2022, the Lionesses win the European Championships. That's a celebratory event.
Okay, right. Thanks for that, Rob.
Also, just to say that Boris Johnson resigns as Prime Minister. Sorry, Alex, let's get on with the podcast.
Right, sorry. You've really, really upset me, I'm going to be honest, Rob. Right, next story from Pete. Continuing on from last time. Hang on, here we go. This is from the Devon Live, Rob, by Lewis Clark. It was from 2019. I noticed a lot of the stories he picked tended to be from 2019. Must have been a particularly good year for local news. Headline: Woman tells council she'd, in quotes, rather die than lose her beloved fireplace.
Entirely understandable if you ask me. I mean, I've never actually owned a fireplace.
Why would she have to lose it? So I'm a bit confused.
Well, I'm hoping with the story you'll tell us, but I imagine that, not to state the obvious, but I imagine that maybe she lives in the council. This is me just speculating. I imagine she lives in the council house, which is needing renovation. And as a result of that, her fireplace is going to be removed. But I'm sure you'll tell us.
A woman fighting, Rob, to save her fireplace said she would rather die than lose it. Jennifer Jenner, interesting name, 47.
It really is. Yeah.
From Siddle's Gardens in Tiverton, says Mid-Devon District Council have told her she must remove her front room fireplace for safety reasons. However, she says that is nonsense. She said they want to take the fireplace out because I haven't got a back burner anymore. But that's nonsense, as they've also put a ventilation fan in my front room. Rob, is back burner a euphemism?
If it is, Alex, it seems very unfair that the council removed it. I would imagine you'd have to do it under some sort of anaesthetic. And to do it without her consent, I mean, she may want to look into the legal ramifications of that.
Can I ask Pete, when you eventually get to this episode, which will be quite some time because you're on about episode 320 at the moment, can you feed back to us whether or not I made that joke originally? Because I'm pretty sure I probably did.
I would put good money on the fact that you did.
Well, she says they want to take the fireplace out because I haven't got a back burner anymore, but that's nonsense. I phoned chimney sweeps who said they can clear it out and that the back boiler is still usable. Right, yes, I had to have said she's getting chimney sweeps, Rob, to check out her back boiler. I don't have... Alex, do you have a chimney in your house? Yes, but it's not used anymore. It's not a usable chimney.
Where the fuck would you find a chimney sweep? Are they still a thing? They must be. Well, I'm just saying I'd like to be friends with a chimney sweep, Alex. That's all I'm saying.
Well, of course you would, because when you were young and you were doing it growing up, you only had yourself for company. Rob swept chimneys for many years, from about the age of, what was it you said, 6 to 11?
6, I wish. 2. As soon as I could walk, Alex, I was up that chimney.
She says, I phoned chimney sweeps who have said they can clear it out and that the back boiler is still usable. Why should I give up my fireplace? If I was on a dole or had kids on my own or I was Eastern European, no doubt they would let me keep the fireplace.
Oh, God.
This is the sort of woman, Rob, that Gordon Brown called a bigot.
It is, Alex. Why would being... Why do you think if you're Eastern European, they would let you keep your fireplace?
Because they get everything, Rob.
Ah, okay. Right, yeah.
According to bigots. My husband works on dust carts for the council and I got a job last year.
Okay.
Rob, what is a dust cart? Is that a bin?
A rubbish lorry.
Right, a dust cart. But I've heard it called that in many years. Yeah. You worked
this is a woman
you worked on a dust cart, didn't you? That was your first job.
Yeah, once I got to the age of 7, I was no longer smaller for the chimney, so I had to find something else.
I don't get anything from the council, so why should I be forced to give up my fireplace? Miss Jenner added she'd had an operation 2 years ago, after which the doctor gave her 25 years to live.
Sorry. How old is she? 25 years to live? What doctor says I'll give you 25 more years? Oh, that really tickled me. How old is this woman?
She's 50.
I mean, what's the
47. So hang on a minute.
Okay.
When they tell you you've only got a certain amount to live, isn't it normally like a few years? Isn't 25 years quite a lot? Like if somebody said to me now,
you've got an educated guess.
Yeah.
He hasn't. Right. I'm sorry, but the operation, the lifespan he's given her bears no relevance to the operation that she's had in any way, shape, or form.
So she had the operation when she was 45, and for some reason, the doctor said she's got till 70 and then she'll die.
Right. Okay.
He's like a clairvoyant, one of those people you see at a fair, Rob.
I think his inner voice came out and he just took an educated guess. He looked at her and thought, yeah, she's only got another 25 years to live.
Because her back boiler's packed up, Rob.
Yeah. The council's removed it.
She added, I told the council last year I'd rather die than lose my fireplace. I was just thinking, Rob, what I'd really like to do, if Pete tell us what episodes these came from? Because what I'd love to do is go back and listen to how we originally covered them.
Yeah, he has. He's given me the episode numbers.
I'd like to see if we found the same things funny. Yes, I might go back. If you could send me the one for this story, I'd like to hear it. Anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Miss Jenner said the fireplace evokes many memories from her 24 years of living in the property.
Right.
Before he died, my dad loved sitting by the fire. Okay.
Of her fireplace or just by the fire randomly?
No, by her fireplace. So before this is why she wants the fireplace. Right, I need to get this sentence out, Rob. Before he died, my dad loved sitting by the fire, making toast and cooking marshmallows. Today, my husband sits by it on cold days. I've never heard of somebody cooking marshmallows over their inbuilt fireplace. Have you?
Right. No. I mean, it's a very what's the word? Domestic image. I mean,
around the campfire.
I don't want to be. Well, yeah, this is it. I don't want to be disparaging, but maybe this woman doesn't get out a lot. So, her dad said, used to make up these situations like, look, we can't go to the woods today. I'm really sorry. We haven't got the petrol, or I don't know, it's raining. Let's all sit around the fire, toast some marshmallows, and we'll pretend, we're not living here.
And think about what we're going to do for those next 25 years before we cark from breathing in these fumes. Director of Operations Andrew Pritchard told the Gazette the housing service is committed to ensuring all our homes are safe, meet the decent home standard, and wherever possible minimise the impact on the environment. There are many alternatives to solid fuel available to the tenant. All offer a safer and more sustainable alternative to solid fuel, but she does not want to give it up, Rob. And I'll tell you this now, even though this story was way back in 2019, to date, to this point, Rob, there are still no comments.
That's upsetting, Alex, I must admit.
Okay, Rob, you've got the next story on the roster for us.
I have, and Alex, it's very strange. Often when you look back at these stories, which we do on occasions, there's just details you completely forget. And this is an extraordinary story.
Right.
So it's from the Gazette, which covers stories from Gloucestershire. Is there journalist? So there's no journalist listed. It's from the 26th of January 2017. And the headline is, Uli archivist reveals village adopted John Daniel, a gorilla, in 1918. Now,
we've referenced this story many times because we've tried to reference it. We've got vague recollections of enjoying it. What year was this published, this story?
2017.
Right, okay.
I don't remember a lot of the details, but it is, now I look back, it is extraordinary. Which ironically is the opening sentence. So, an extraordinary tale has emerged from the Uli archives about the time villagers adopted a lowland gorilla. There's I don't know if there's an episode title like Gloucestershire Village adopts a lowland gorilla, something along those lines.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ape called John Daniel played with children, went to classes, ate roses from the garden, enjoyed cups of tea, and drinking cider with the locals.
So hang on, right, Rob. Sorry, let's revisit this all over again.
Yes.
What period of time did they adopt this gorilla into their community?
So I think it said 1918 in the story somewhere.
So they adopted a gorilla, and the gorilla went to school and did other things like the locals did. Did they think he was human?
I think they treated him as if he was, yes. Yeah, very much so.
Have you got an image of this? No, but I mean, did they believe he was? Not treat it. Did they understand it was a gorilla? I've got this image of a teacher going, for God's sake, was he called John?
John Daniel, yeah.
For God's sake, John, why aren't you getting it? Because you think month after month, year after year go back, and he still can't do 2 + 2.
John, stop eating the fucking teacups! Yeah, I mean, also just, Alex, we're talking about a gorilla. A gorilla who apparently played with children, went to classes, ate roses from the garden, and enjoyed cups of tea. See, as much as I love my daughter, and I would want her to interact with animals, I'm not sure if I would allow her to have a play date with a gorilla.
No, I think there's a certain amount of risk involved there.
Yeah, I think so. So, early society archivist Margaret Groom has unearthed a collection of unique photos of John, which have been published in her book about the history of the village. He will be carted around by kids in a wheelbarrow and hang out with a local cobbler watching him repair shoes. Because that's what gorillas enjoy, Alex. They enjoy watching a cobbler repairing shoes.
Can you tell our listeners about when you were a cobbler?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, that was after the time that I was kicked off the dust cart, or dustbin lorry. Once I was no longer able to fit within the bins, I had to then find a new profession.
All of this, of course, is in jest, but to be fair, Rob, no, but just honestly, there was a time, Rob, that you did help. You were an assistant, not the lead person, but you helped sell like cockles out of one of those vans.
No, that's not true, is it? I mean, have I ever told the story about being when I was a magician's assistant?
What?
I never told the story in the podcast.
I was actually a magician.
Okay, hang on. There's 2 stories here that I think we've never told.
I told you that time when I was about 11, 12, I started doing birthday parties as a clown, and I do magic tricks from a Paul Daniels magic set. Yeah. Yeah,
you did do that.
Yeah.
So I think I've probably told this story before as well, many, many years ago. I haven't told it for a while, but I was asked to be a magician's assistant, and to my friend Doug, who was, I think, quite a talented magician.
Never trust somebody called Doug, Rob.
He was a lovely guy. I'm assuming he's still alive. And he was performing at the local fete. And he asked whether I'd help him out as part of his routine. So it was in the small town in Northamptonshire. They were having their fete, and his trick was going to be that I would padlock him inside a wheelie bin filled with water. Have I ever told this story before?
I've never heard this in my life, Rob.
I think I've got a picture somewhere as well, randomly. So in the show area, which was obviously partitioned off, I basically he got in the bin. I put handcuffs on him. We then put chains around the bin with a padlock on the top, and then he had time to escape. So
it's quite homoerotic. Did you two ever do a sort of sword swallowing show?
No. But I think I have mentioned him on the podcast because he took me to a magic shop in my hometown at the time that I never even knew was there. It was like literally walking into Narnia. He was my age, by the way. Just to say, he was in my year at school.
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure if that makes any better. Let's go back to the gorilla. So, raised as a boy, John had his own bedroom, was potty trained, and even knew how to make his bed and do the washing up.
Right. He was raised as a boy. That means these villagers, who don't sound like they were very clever, thought that he was human. Just a hairy boy. And they raised him as a boy. He could make his own bed. What?
Yes.
No, he fucking couldn't. Fuck off, could he make his what? Fuck off.
And do the washing up. He was a domesticated gorilla, Alex.
Washing up, there'd just be plates being thrown against the wall. That's it, John. Good John.
I mean, yeah. Well, it gets even more. So Apparently, John was later found for sale at a London department store, Derry and Tom's, in 1918, and was bought for £300.
So he found for sale. So these villagers loved him so much they sold him into a life of.
No. So basically, I think so. He was raised as a boy, but then he was brought to the village by this guy called Rupert, by Major Rupert Penny, who was a guy who brought him at the department store.
Right. Just think that back in the day, like you'd walk into a Harrods or other department store and they'd just be selling a gorilla. Look, real life hairy boy.
Apparently, Rupert's sister, Alice Cunningham, nurtured and brought him up in a country house in Ully and nicknamed him Sultan. Can you imagine coming back from London one day and saying, "Oh, sister, I've brought you something," and then just showing her a gorilla? It's quite an evocative image.
I'm perplexed right now.
So she raised him as a normal boy in the village, and he regularly used to go for walks with children of the Ully Junior School. So villagers in Ully adopted the London gorilla after he was captured as a baby in the Gabon, I think.
Yes.
Where his parents were shot by French officers. That's nice to know.
Right, so he was an orphan gorilla.
He was an orphan. He was an orphan that obviously had been rescued. Well, in this case, purchased from a department store. And was raised as one of their own in this tiny village in Gloucestershire.
Of course, it was Gloucestershire. Yes. Mm. A lot of the people in Gloucestershire, I think, are descendants of John Daniel, is my understanding. Evolutionary sort of reset itself. So we're now in the Neanderthal phase.
Well, considering this is my county, Alex, I find that quite offensive, actually.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, his adoptive owners were later tricked into selling him to the circus.
How do you get tricked into selling something for the circus? That must have been that Irish guy who rang the Pound World that we had last week.
Yeah, but apparently he moved to America where he died pining for Alice, which is all very sad.
Pining for Alice is a good name for a very sort of somber film. Susan Sarandon wins some Oscars, that sort of thing.
Yeah, very true, yeah. So
also a good episode title, Rob, Pining for Alice.
Pining for Alice, yeah, absolutely. So apparently she's found a collection of photographs of him walking around with the children, pushing with the wheelbarrows and, like, say, enjoying a mug of cider. He was also fascinated by the village cobbler and watching repairing shoes. He had his own bedroom. He could use the light switch in the toilets.
No, he couldn't do any of this fucking bullshit. This is nonsense. He was making his bed, and he also would cook everybody a meal on Fridays.
John was known for his perfect manners, Alex. At 5 o'clock.
No, he wasn't.
He never missed drinking a cup of tea, and always dinner. After dinner, he always drank coffee.
So, what do you mean at 5 o'clock he'd never miss a cup of tea? What are they talking about? They're claiming, Rob, that they somehow, for the first time in human history or animal history, took this gorilla and sort of made. They're suggesting that this gorilla was sort of like had the kind of capabilities of somebody like you, Rob. Not possible, is it?
Right. Okay. So apparently during the day he used to drink 3 large shots of whiskey and sometimes a glass of port or sherry.
What do you mean? None of this was by his own volition. What are they saying? He went up to the drinks cabinet
and
poured himself
Alex.
A port. What are they talking about? He just
wanted an afternoon aperitif. That's all he would do. Apparently, Miss Cunningham would take John to a London home in Sloane Street where he would attend her VIP dinner parties, drinking cups of tea in the afternoon.
What do you mean? What, he'd turn up in a tuxedo and she'd be like, "It's my hairy husband." I think we speculated when we covered this story way back when that he was her lover.
Yes, we did. I think we did speculate that. Yeah, absolutely. Or at least, I mean, the fact that she's trained him to do these things, and the fact that he would accompany her to apparently VIP dinner parties would I would think imply that.
And it makes me quite worried about her.
Yeah, that's possibly true. So apparently she sold him to an American in 1921 for 1,000 guineas, believing that he would be sent to a home in Florida. But she was deceived, and instead he fell into the hands of Barnum and Bailey Circus and was also displayed in the Ringling Zoo of Madison Square Gardens. If anyone doesn't remember this story, that's sad. I'll miss that. You don't need to know about that. But apparently his body is stuffed.
No. What do I not need to know?
So, unfortunately, the ring contacted Miss Cunningham to say that his health was deteriorating because they believed that he was pining for Miss Cunningham. So apparently she set sail immediately but he died of pneumonia before she arrived. Alex, you got to laugh at that. It's a dead gorilla. It's a sad story. Although not that sad, because if you want to visit him, you can. His body was stuffed and given to the American Museum of Natural History for preservation. He went on display in the New York Museum in 1920, where he remains today.
Hang on a minute, Rob. In all seriousness, what if this wasn't a gorilla? What if I've got it the wrong way around? What if it was just a very hairy man?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. If that is the case, then this is a horrific story.
Okay, Rob, we are finishing with these are all classics. And let's be honest, Rob, we could do this. We could do this probably for the next 50 episodes or longer, just go back and trawl through the archives. We're not going to do that, don't worry. This is from the Wales Online, a paper we used to feature a lot. You remember Craig from Wales? The guy who worked in the abattoir used to send us a lot of stories. Shame we don't hear from him anymore.
I do. I believe that originally, Pete referenced the story, but I believe originally it might have been Craig who submitted this, to be honest.
I suspect so. It's by James Rothwell. Now, this is another story, Rob, that led to a spate of other similar stories that we've been covering ever since. And we keep promising we're going to buy those books, Rob.
Yes, we do need to do that.
Which we would just be crying. We need to do it. Right, headline. This is from January 2015. Randy ghosts prowling Welsh highways to seduce drivers, paranormal author claims.
Just you reading the headline made me smile.
Now, Rob is a big believer, aren't he, Rob, in all things supernatural?
No, but that's not the case, Alex.
Hitchhiking ghosts could be seducing travellers on a busy road near Swansea, a paranormal investigator has claimed. Now, we've got another with two. I think in the last episode we had one of your relations, that judge. We've got another one. Gavin Davies, fellow Welshman like yourself, the author of Ghost Sex, which is one of the books we did say we would buy, says he's investigating a spate of incidents where unsuspecting drivers are seduced by hitchhiking ghouls. Now, I've got to tell you, Rob, if this is a story I think it is, I can remember almost all of it. That's how much it's seared into me.
So, Alex, I think for the best of my memory, I'm sure this is that story. I have a feeling, I'm sure we cover them in slightly more detail, but nevertheless, this is brilliant.
One of them involved a Pembrokeshire man who told Mr. Davies he was seduced by a figure disguised as a beautiful woman hitchhiking on the A40. I was approached by a man who did not want to be identified because it could expose him to ridicule.
At least from the off, he recognises that.
Who told me he picked up a hitchhiker who turned out to be a ghost that seduced him. I can't believe I remember this story very well. Now, I'm aware stuff like this is often intended as erotica, and people have fantasies about it, which we've since discovered, Rob. There's a big sort of community out there, aren't there, of people who sort of get turned on by something.
There really are. Obviously, the woman who comes to mind is obviously that the woman who married the ghost of a pirate. Which obviously didn't end well. But,
do you know what, Rob? Then after this story, to bring us into the next however many episodes, let me just finish with a story that is very related to this. I think I've got to.
Okay.
And at first I thought it was a wind-up call, but this man genuinely believed he was seduced by a paranormal entity. He said that he was driving back. Now, I remember all of this. He was driving back from a date that hadn't gone as planned. And he saw a beautiful woman on the side of the road and he picked her up. So he's gone out, Rob, on a date. Right, it's been arranged. That hasn't gone as planned. Now, that in itself, what does that mean? Hasn't gone as planned. It could mean anything. The woman turned out to be a man. She didn't turn up. She was 95. Whatever it is, we just don't know.
Yeah.
But then he claims he saw a beautiful woman on the side of the road and he picked her up. Mr. Davies said the man, known as John, not the gorilla, then pulled over and took the mysterious woman into a public toilet. Where else, Rob? We are in Wales.
Alex, that is, there's nothing to suggest they had any sort of conversation, that they were getting along. Did he immediately, that's the first thing he did, he took her to a public toilet?
Yeah. Now, Rob, I don't remember this sentence, but I want us to speculate on what on earth this means. He said the ghost then seduced John in terms too graphic to describe.
Alex, I think what he means is that if you want to find out what those graphic details are, you have to buy the book.
But what do you think that means? Seduced him in words too graphic to describe. Well, but we probably best not say, to be fair, Rob.
Yeah, possibly not. I mean, I imagine, I'm sure there are some editorial standards for the Wales Online, and so they couldn't, they don't want to end up looking like the Daily Sport.
Right. John then wrote, then I started to smell something strange. At first I thought it was like a cigarette smell. I was choking. I thought I was going to die. I was crying and everything. I was passing out. I just wanted a policeman to start banging on the window and save me. I pushed her back.
Okay.
I pushed her back with all my force, and there was not a pretty girl on me, but some... Now, Rob, I remember us crying at this. But some haggard, disgusting old woman with some kind of awful skin condition. Yes, I remember. Wasn't the episode titled "A Haggard, Disgusting Old Woman with Some Kind of Awful Skin Condition"?
I'm not sure it actually was.
Should have been.
I don't think it was.
I screamed and screamed, and she just vanished. Mr. Davies says he believes. Right before we get into the theory,
yeah,
I remember, and I'm very proud of this. I offered a psychological explanation for what had gone on. I'm going to repeat it here, probably in more depth than I did at the time. This man is a lonely man, right, who has been craving female companionship for some time. He's gone off on a list of failed dates.
Yep.
And after the latest one, he can psychologically bear this no more after the next one just turns out just to be terrible. And so in his mind, it's not conscious, he fantasizes about something going well, which is, he fantasizes almost this ultimate male fantasy that I just see this beautiful woman hitchhiking on the side of the road who gets in the car and automatically wants to sleep with me without me having to make any effort. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he takes her to this toilet, Rob, and he dreams of her seducing him in terms too graphic to describe. But as he's engaged in this psychological fantasy, the kind of curtains come down because actually it's not real. And what interests me is he dreams, or he fantasizes about a policeman knocking on the window and trying to save him, which suggests maybe there's some homoerotic cravings underpinning some of this, I believe. I don't think I mentioned those last time, which is what this is really about.
Either that, Alex, or the guy's a dogger, so he's quite used to policemen knocking on the window. Time for you to get involved, maybe.
Well, Mr. Davies, your cousin, I assume, first, second, third, whatever it is, there's a lot of interbreeding, says he believes the man could have been affected by sleep paralysis after nodding off in the car. Sleep paralysis is a condition where the victim feels wide awake but is unable to move a muscle, but it's often accompanied by delusions of being watched by a menacing presence. In the Renaissance era, they believed that paralysis was caused by, I remember us talking about this, succubi, who would seduce people while they were asleep.
Yep.
His book, Ghost Sex, has already sold, Rob, 3,000 copies online and topped, that's actually not bad, supernatural charts on the Amazon Kindle store. He is also the editor of Paranormal Chronicles, a website that looks into suspected sightings of ghosts and UFOs. Writing this book has taken its toll on me, Mr. Davies says. This is just one account, and many of the others are far more graphic and quite traumatic to research. It is certainly the last time I'll write a book about ghost sex. Be interesting to look him up, Rob, and see if he's written many more. I don't know.
I think what he means when he said this book has taken its toll on me is the fact that he's literally, his penis is now friction burnt. Yeah.
Oh, God. Right, Rob, let's finish episode 401 as we head into the next 400 episodes with a news story, Rob, not one from the back catalogue. It's from Sky News, Monday the 17th of July. No journalist listed. We love stories like this, Rob. It's very related to what we just read. Headline: Singer divorces devilishly handsome ghost of a Victorian soldier after less than a year.
Oh, good. Yep, lovely.
A singer who married what she claims was the ghost of a Victorian soldier has said their divorce less than a year later. The songwriter and performer, who goes only by the name Brocard, said she first met devilishly handsome Eduardo when he burst into her bedroom one dark and stormy night. Now, didn't we cover this a year ago when she married him? I remember something about Eduardo.
Really?
Or am I thinking of Orlando? I'm thinking of Orlando.
I think of Orlando, maybe, yeah. But Eduardo doesn't sound like a typically French name.
Well, the 40-year-old from Oxfordshire said long-haired Eduardo immediately announced his love for her and later began confiding in her. So remember, one rather like this other guy,
right,
who's driving down the highway and in a typical male fantasy imagines this beautiful woman on the side of the road who hitchhikes him and offers him free sex. In her fantasy, Eduardo, this ghost of a Victorian soldier, burst into her bedroom one dark and stormy night. It's very Wuthering Heights, Rob.
Yeah.
The 40-year-old, so then she said that long-haired Eduardo immediately announced, as soon as he came into the bedroom, "I love you," and began confiding in her.
Right.
Their spirited love affair hit the headlines when Brocard announced they were to marry in a chapel on Halloween in 2023. There is a video of those vows, by the way. It's her standing next to, but you can't see anything, with some sort of priest.
Great.
In inverted commas.
Right. Okay.
Brocard posted a video of the ceremony on Instagram where she is seen wearing all black with an empty space where invisible Eduardo was said to have been standing. However, shortly after they married, Brocard said she was angry that her husband got too drunk on their honeymoon in Barry Island, Wales.
Oh my God. Oh, that is so bleak. Why would you go to Barry Island? Sorry.
Brocard added that Eduardo would become increasingly possessive and would switch between being warm and intense and threatening.
Right, sure.
She said, "After our initial meeting, Eduardo slowly revealed more about himself to me. I saw his images as a Victorian soldier. He was always in his uniform, even on our wedding day. His face is devilishly handsome. Shoulder-length, unruly hair. He looks lived in, well-worn, troubled almost. There's a pain attached to his being, rather like Heathcliff, Rob, from Wuthering Heights."
Yeah.
The songwriter, poet and performer also said she tired of Eduardo's unsettling fascination with... Finish a sentence, Rob.
The French Revolution.
Marilyn Monroe.
Sorry. I have a few questions. So, I mean, it's a good... This is a really sort of metaphysical question. Can ghosts change their clothes? Or are they just destined to walk the other realm in the costume they died in?
That would be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
It would be.
What if you died in a buff?
Well, so be it.
What if you died in being shot by police when you're wearing a honey monster costume outside the place you shouldn't be standing?
I don't know what that refers to, Alex. And are we assuming then, is he... So his fixation with Marilyn Monroe, I'm assuming that would be the dead Marilyn Monroe who he's met in the afterlife. Is that how this works?
Brocade claims a soldier's crush on the late iconic Hollywood actress began on their wedding day when he spotted the spirit of Monroe in the chapel. So even on the day they were getting married, he was checking out another ghost.
Sorry, Alex. I just want to clarify. So she's apparently stating that Marilyn Monroe came to her wedding in Oxfordshire.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Have you ever heard of the phrase delusions of grandeur, Rob? She claims the soldier would disappear for days before returning, Rob, smelling of Chanel No. 5, the fragrance which had been Monroe's favourite perfume.
Maybe he just enjoyed the scent, just bought it himself.
The singer claims setting boundaries infuriated Eduardo, and he started allegedly haunting her with the sound of a screaming baby.
I mean, that would be terrifying, Alex. Also, can you smell a ghost?
Eh? No, not right now.
She
I just need a shower, Rob. That's all it is. I'm surprised you can smell me from here, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Okay. But it's another good metaphysical question. Can you smell a ghost?
Rob, I want you to focus on this sentence. The singer claims that when she tried setting boundaries with Eduardo, it infuriated him, and he allegedly started to haunt her with the sound of a screaming baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, as I said, that would be terrifying, especially if he's had to go into the afterlife to source a screaming baby, unless he was mimicking it himself.
Right. Brocard says she returned to the chapel where they married in order to exorcise him from her mind. She announced the split in her song, Just Another Anthem.
Right. Is there a link to that by any chance?
Yeah, shall I look it up? Because we could play us out. I mean, she might sue us.
That would be nice.
We can't really because of copyright. Just Another Anthem.
I don't think she's going to sue.
Song. Yes, I've got it here. I've got it here, Rob. I'm just going to listen to it. Hang on, Rob.
Cynical.
Let me listen to it. It looks quite good.
Okay,
so the opening lyrics are my eyes are bleeding, my heart is dripping wet.
Okay.
It's like a very scary Kate Moss. She's She's screaming now in a heavy metal way. My eyes are bleeding. Rob, she's wearing all black. It's quite. She's gagging and pretending to vomit over a chapel.
Right.
It's very disturbing. Some of the comments, her artistry is awesome. This girl is an epic legend, powerful performer. Your videos always leave me feeling inspired. Thank you. I actually love her music. This girl deserves the world. What a unique woman. Superstar. She's a star. Best song she's done. Gorgeous vocals. It's great to find new talent. This is stroke of genius. Absolute superstar. Stunning. She's going to be mega famous. She's a diva. I'm all for her. The midsection rocks. Literally. Total rock star. I'm sure that you can tell that your ghost loves you dearly, and you probably have many other men out there that love you totally and completely. You're just loved and beautiful, beautiful, talented, sweet. There's no reason why you should get an exorcist on men that are madly in love with you. You really should see the bright side of the world, or people, because you should say that you dearly loved all over the place. A very good argument, Rob, for why YouTube comments should be moderated. On that note, Rob, we bring a brilliant episode, Rob. 401. Have you enjoyed our celebrations, Rob? I've enjoyed them very much. How are we going to end? We said we'd end with...
Oh, fuck, yes. So,
sorry, Rob. Somebody just like to say hello quickly, because it has been a long time.
Right, who?
Come in. It's the episode. Hi, Rob. Happy 401th birthday!
Sorry,
no, it's 400. We're splitting it over 2. Happy 400th birthday! It's not a birthday. It's like not even an anniversary. It's 400th episode. Happy 400 episodes. Just imagine 400 of me, Rob, all over you. Fuck the injunction. Fuck the injunction.
No. You're dead.
Am I?
Isn't he?
Is he?
How is this happening?
No. It's the ghost of the episode. Oh, Rob. So yeah, you can go now. Bye. See ya. Rob. It's funny how easily I've slipped into that after all these years, Rob.
Yeah.
Not a euphemism. Rob, we said we'd end again. You enjoyed spelling the word anaesthetic out phonetically. God bless you. So what theme?
Okay, let's go. I want to give us a wide variety. So let's just go something with like supermarket produce. Is that... No, that's too broad, isn't it?
Shit. Surely it should be something related to what we've covered this story.
Animals?
Rob, we're not sure. If we can't spell out the word anaesthetic with animal names, we're seriously not okay.
Well, Alex, let's try it and then we'll see where we stand.
We've done it before in a previous episode, but fine. Aardvark. Bloody aardvark.
Great, okay. N. Newt.
It's an insect, isn't it? We're still out. Okay, fine.
It's not an insect. It's an amphibian, but...
Okay. Alligator.
E. Elephant.
What letter are we on? S? That's snake.
Okay, T. Tarantula.
There were many you could have chosen. Hippopotamus.
E.
I could fly higher than an eagle.
Eagle! Yeah, thank you.
Where are we?
T.
Tiger.
H.
No, I, Rob. We're on I now. We're on the tick. Your I. We've done the H earlier.
No.
We did hippopotamus earlier. We anaesthetic. We've covered it. We did TH. Then we did the E, which is eagle. Now we're on TIC. God.
Oh yeah.
Right, so you.
What did you say?
Eagle.
I said eagle.
Tiger. So you've got I.
Iguana.
Crab.
And strangely, it's in keeping.
I don't feel we need to continue this anymore. No. Well done, Rob, that we could name some animals. This is the kind of thing they can do in primary school, Rob.
Yeah, my daughter can do it.
Thank you for listening, everybody. We're on our website, LAPodcast.net. From there, you're going to find the links to our various other presences, but please do donate to this podcast. If you've enjoyed listening to it, just leave a tip, just a one-time donation via PayPal, or you can set up a rolling donation. It really does help us out, and we look forward to seeing you in a week's time for episode 402, Rob. And hopefully one day we'll be celebrating 500 episodes, 600 episodes, 700 episodes, 800 episodes. It all depends. I need to see that doctor that woman saw to find out how many years I have to live, Rob. God bless.
And keep it local.